Oh, hey, you're finally here to stay for the night. Please, come inside. Now, please, make yourself at home. Uh, it's funny to... it's finally good to see you. And haven't had a sleepover in a while. Well, I don't remember my last sleepover. I think maybe that was years ago, probably when I was in 6th grade. Well, I would like to... Well, we already had some wild times together, but there's just something that I cannot stop thinking about. Well, it's something that happened to me last year, and it's already been an entire year. Well, I'm sorry that we never hung out much. We're usually at the cafeteria just eating lunch together, and that's it. And sometimes we don't talk much in class because we're busy. And we don't do homework anymore. Yeah, I just do my own homework from now on. I like it better that way. It's just that I just feel a lot safer, but well, it's just that I haven't been going very well at the moment. So that's why I just finally took time off from my friends and other close pals, but I finally got my confidence back, so I invited you over to sleep. Oh, I invited you for a sleepover. Just you and me. I'm a little tired, and even though it's already past midnight. Well, we've been, well, we've been on our phones for a while, but, well, it's almost time to sleep, but I just cannot stop thinking about that day. Well, I still remember. It's just that, well, this, this all happened last year back in my school. You know, we used to go to school together, and this girl that showed up to our school, you know, the new one, well, she was different. Very, very different. Well, I guess I should explain it. Well, this is gonna be something that I never told anyone. It's because you're the first one that I'm telling. So, okay. Yes, the new girl that showed up to our school. You don't remember her, but it's because you were never involved in this. I mean, you weren't there. So, yeah. We're just gonna. I cannot remember her name neither because I already wanted to forget about everything. Well, I cannot remember her name, so we're just gonna call her the Love Bug. Well, I cannot remember her name, so let's call her the Love Bug because she bugs me around a lot. Oh well, I guess this all started after we returned from winter break, I guess. Well, it also happened during the winter break. It was somewhere near, maybe, well, it was somewhere in December, yes. Well, me and the love bug, we, we hung out because we were in the same class. She was new to the class back in November. Yeah, back when we had the Thanksgiving break. Yeah, she showed up there and we talked. Well, that's because she was apparently new and she had no friends around, you know. And I couldn't resist myself. I knew that she needed someone to talk to because I couldn't just leave her alone like that. So I just decided to lend her a hand by helping her with homework. So I just said hi, and she said hi, and nice to meet you. I'm Cyberduck. What's your name? Well, and I cannot remember her name, so she said, hi, I'm Lovebug. So, yeah, we hung out, we did homework, we talked for hours and hours, until, well, you remember that other time back at the festival we had Thanksgiving dinner? Well, apparently I had two of my female friends joining me in until, well, we returned back from Thanksgiving break. Until I met her again, saying, I asked her how was her Thanksgiving, and, well, she just stood there and gave me a silent stare. I was like a little confused, and it got me all concerned. Why is she staring at me like that? Until she later responded to me a few seconds later. She said, who were those two girls on Thanksgiving? And why do you had dinner with them? As for myself, I felt very shocked and disturbed. I puzzled in my head for a few minutes, but I didn't have enough time. I just kept thinking, how did she knew about my friends? And how did she knew I was having Thanksgiving dinner with them? And I just thought it straight away. I was thinking, was she spying on me? So we just both stared at each other in awkward silence. I knew that one of us had to say something, but I just couldn't say anything. So I just decided to end the conversation and head directly to my class, even though we're already in the same period that we're heading. We were heading to the same period class, so we just left. We were in class, we were doing our work, but she stared at me from the right side of my desk, and I couldn't bear that stare. It just made me feel uncomfortable. Everyone ignored, even the teacher. Some were watching, but they ignored it and brushed it off. Because everybody ignores everybody. That's what happens all the time. So I just tried to ignore her as much as possible and continued with my work. So after we were finishing class, I head over to my next class, which was PE. So I put on my uniform and we ran around the laps. We also had a football that we can play with, so we can play a little bit of football. One of my friends threw the football out of the field, so I was the one who had to go get it. Until she was there, underneath those benches, those football benches. She was terrible at hiding, so I just brushed it off. But I couldn't. I just thought of it. I thought that she's a stalker. What am I gonna do? That's because I'm well experienced, because I've seen a lot of stalker movies. I knew that I had a stalker on my tail. So I just decided to ignore it because I'm not well experienced on getting away from one because it was my first time. So I decided to finish the rest of the day. After that, I went with one of my female friends. We went to go get lunch. We usually go to the 7-Eleven where we can pick up something to eat and we can put it in the microwave. She usually goes for a Slurpee, I think a cherry flavor. I also go for the Coca-Cola flavor. Well, we don't get Slurpees much. For myself, I got the Coca-Cola flavored like usual, and she got a blueberry. I also picked up a sandwich pack. Well, after that, we got our food and we decided to head back to her place. Until I noticed that Lovebug was still behind us. She's been following us because she was right in sight. Usually the stalkers just hide. They always hide, but she just followed us. We just ignored it. Well, apparently my female friend didn't notice her, so I just decided to ignore it. We took a we took the shortcut, but she was following us. I still felt it. I can also hear the footsteps. Well, I told her if we can take a different path because I had to do something. So I told my female friend, let's take this side. Trust me. And let's run as fast as we can. Because I think that it might rain. That day was cloudy, so I'm guessing that it was gonna rain either way. So we ran. We took another path and we ran as fast as we could. I didn't told her about Lovebug because I knew it would make it worse. We try our best not to trip over anything because we were still carrying our food. So we ran until we finally reached her house. I looked back just in case she was following us, and she wasn't. We made it safely. We entered her place, so we did homework together. Until I've noticed that something wasn't right. As a well experienced stalker expert, well, I've seen a lot of stalker movies where a stalker just stares at a window from outside. I took a few peeks out the window, but there was nothing there. So I'm guessing she must have already left, probably because she lost us. So I'm guessing that we must have lost Lovebug during our escape. So we just finished our homework and we were just hanging out, finishing our food. Anyway, the next day passed until my female friend did not show up to school. I'm guessing that maybe she was late because we were hanging out a lot. She must have been a bit dizzy from all that sugar in the Slurpee. Well, she was drinking blueberry, and blueberry is quite sugary. It was already lunchtime, and my female friend still hasn't shown. So I finished after school and decided to show up to her house because we also had a project we were working on. I arrived at her house, but when I arrived, police were already there. The entire house was covered in yellow tape. The police had crime scene the place like something has happened. Like someone has committed a crime. I freaked out. I ran close to the house and spoken to one of the officers. I told him what happened. Why is the house covered in tape? The police told me, "Please, sir, stay back. Do you live here?" I said, "This is my best friend's house. What happened?" The police told me everything. That someone was murdered. Someone was stabbed to death. I couldn't bear my eyes to see. As the police dragged out the body, I've noticed what really happened. And I was taking a wild guess of who did it. The next day, all of us gathered around and we all sang and we all cried. Until then, we already gave our prayers to my best friend because we already said at the funeral, "May she will rest in peace." I tried looking for Lovebug, but she mysteriously vanished. The last time I saw her was when we both escaped from her. I guess she put a smart move on us, so we never lost her in the forest. I tried talking to someone to see if they ever heard from her. Some spread rumors that she just left. Some just say that, I don't know, maybe she's sick or something. Since I do not know her address, I tried talking to one of the counselors or even the principal, but it seemed that she hasn't showed up. I already told her that she might be a witness, but I decided to bring that into the police. I told them about Lovebug, how she was stalking me, how we were followed, and I also told them that maybe she might be involved with the murder of my best friend. So I decided to just put it on hold and wait until I get news from them. But the police never delivered me any news. They were still on the investigation. They couldn't find Lovebug, so I'm guessing she must have escaped. So I just thought that I knew that she was involved in this. So, yeah, a few months had passed and Christmas was over. I never thought about it. And later, during those months, I just kept thinking about my best friend and about Lovebug. The police are still in search for her, but she never showed up. No sign of her or anything else. Until I just got a weird text one day. Maybe somewhere between March or something like that. Well, until then, I got a text and it said, "I missed you. I want to be with you. I need you. I'll gather all my love and strength just for you." That text was pure red flag. I knew that it was her. I didn't bother replying back because I was in shock. I was just very scared because I don't know what would happen to me if she finds me. I felt very insecure because I was thinking that what she would do to me. Will she take me somewhere? Or would she find me and murder me next? Wait, and I was thinking, she said she loves me. So she wants to be with me. She can't kill me. So I didn't have to worry about death. But what I was worried about was being kidnapped. I don't know where she would take me. So I just decided to be very careful on what I did. I went to school, but I also hitched a ride with my best friend. I also took a bus home. I didn't bother walking alone anymore. I was very careful. Until a few weeks later had passed. I thought I was finally over it until I completely forgot about it. I still kept the texts in my phone. But until then, one day, I decided to take the bus one more time. And the next day, I decided to walk alone once again because the bus was just too expensive for me. I just needed to save up money, so I was walking alone until I was walking towards the neighborhood, and there she was, in clear sight. This time she was staring straight at me with those soulless eyes. She stared at me until I noticed that I was frozen in place. I was frozen in fear until she just walked closer to me and closer, and I didn't bother moving until a few seconds later my body finally responded, until I just noticed that I had to take one step back. But I only took one step back. I didn't bother walking away. I said, "What do you want from me?" She said, "Only you, my love. Only you." I felt very shocked until I finally got a response from my body telling me to run away. So I did, but she wasn't alone. She hired someone to go after me, and so I tried running away, but I wasn't fast enough until I was caught up, and I'm pretty sure I was knocked out unconscious because I felt a very painful bump in my head. The next thing I knew, I was waking up tied up to a chair and my mouth covered in duct tape until she appeared once again. I was frozen in place. I tried to scream, but I couldn't because I was covered in duct tape. I just couldn't believe it. Can't believe she would just go through all this trouble just to be with me like that. Even involve kidnapping me. It felt very, very scary for me. Until then, I just stared at her until she ungagged me. I told her, "What do you want from me? What did I do? Is there something wrong with you?" She replied back, "No, there's nothing wrong with me. All I want is you. That's all I want." I told her, "Why do you kidnap me?" She said, Well, because you didn't want it to be with me, so I brought you here myself. I suddenly reacted like, yes, I do remember running away from her. That was the most shocking time of my life. Tied up to a chair like that. I was trapped in that basement for I don't know how long until the police finally tracked her down and I was saved. That was the most shocking experience of my life. Someone would have a crush on me way too much, and someone would commit murder just to keep me single. I will never forget about it. Well, that's the story. I'm guessing that you're not going to sleep anymore. Well, I'm sorry that I had to tell you, but I couldn't keep it in much longer. So, anyway, let's try to play some games.